McGill asks, can you make a video about how Trap Monsters cards work, and a theoretical one about how a Ritual Pendulum monster and a Fusion monster could work? Let's answer those questions in this video. I love the Burgerstam archetype. As you guys know, I have lots of decks revolving around Burgerstamas. So yeah, this is a great question. Before they are trap monsters, there's just trap cards in your hand, so you need to set them on the field before you activate them. Once they've been set for one turn, you can activate them whenever you want to, or whenever it specifies. Specifically for this card, it says during either player's main phase, so it has a specific time when it's summoned, as well as this card's also treated as a trap card, which means it has double the weakness. So since it's a monster, it can still be destroyed by Dark Hole, Regeki, or by battle, as well as it can still be destroyed by Mystical Space Typhoon and Dust Tornado because it's still treated as a trap card. And being a trap card, it still is taking up a spell or trap card zone, as well as a monster zone because it's now a monster as well. So when you summon a trap monster, you just place it from the spell and trap zone to your monster zone. The Prime Monarch. So this card, when it's activated, there's not really much monster trap card effect being activated here. It's just a regular continuous trap card. But once it's in your graveyard, you can activate its effect during either player's turn because technically it is a trap card and it's an effect. So you can summon it back to the field as a sort of like a monster trap card, but it has that text where it says this card is not treated as a trap card, which means it's not taking up a spell and trap card zone, as well as it cannot be destroyed by like Mystical Space Typhoon or Dust Tornado. So that is the Prime Monarch. Shape Sister, I have this card here because it's the only trap card in the game that's also a tuner trap monster sort of thing, so that's pretty neat. Cyber Shadow Garna, one of my favorite trap monsters back in the day because of Kishido's Spirit with this monster. Basically, Cyber Shadow Garna can only be summoned during your opponent's main phase, but it can mimic the attack points of whatever attacks it, and Kishido's Spirit protects it from being destroyed by battle with monsters with the same attack points, so it was a pretty good combo back in the day, of course. As well as Statue of Anguish Pattern. This card was like made for trap monster decks because if a trap monster card is summoned from your spell and trap zone, you can blow up a card on the field, so that's pretty nice. And we got Burgstamas, of course. This archetype is based around trap cards, as well as summoning these cards back from your graveyard whenever a trap card is activated to your side of the field as a monster, but it's not treated as a trap card, which means it does not get like MST'd or Dust Tornado weakness, or it does not take a spell trap card zone space. These guys are pretty versatile because it's any player's trap card activation, which means if your opponent activates like a trap card like Mirror Force, you can bring back a Burgstama monster as well. Of course, one Burgstama can only be special summoned after one trap card activation, which means you can't just have like one Mirror Force activating and you can summon all 5 Burgstamas from your graveyard back to your field, because that would be insane, right? Ritual Pendulum and Fusion Pendulum. Well, for this, I'd like to recall the anime, so if you guys didn't watch the anime and are planning to, I suggest you guys just turn off the video because of spoilers, but if you don't, let's continue on. So before we talk about these things, let's talk about Exceed Pendulums. Dark Rebellion Exceed Dragon was used by Yuto in the anime. Odd-Eye's Pendulum Dragon was used by Tomato Head Yuya. Somehow Yuto died in the anime and now Yuto is within Yuya, his soul, so now they're kind of like merged together. And now Yuya is super pissed because of the Echinacea soldiers carting people, turning people into cards, because sending people to the Shadow Realm is apparently overrated in this anime. So they're turning people into cards, so Yuya's super pissed. He summons Odd-Eye's Rebellion Dragon in like the most ludicrous way as possible because he Exceed summon using an Exceed monster and a regular monster, so that's pretty game breaking, I'd say. And then he proceeds to destroy the Academia soldiers, all 3 of them with an one-sided AoE ring destruction, with one-sided ring destruction for that matter, and then he gets to attack 3 times because he destroyed 3 monsters with its effect, so pretty insane destructive effect. Before we talk about the Synchro Pendulum monster, I just want to touch upon Yuya's Enlightenment, question mark. So Yuya was in the situation where he had all these monsters in the graveyard to work with, he has 500 life points left, he has Monster Reborn in his hand, pretty old school but awesome, and he had a Pendulum scale of 2 and 6 already set on his side of the field. He has monsters in his extra deck, Perform Pile Silver Claw, Time Sword Magician face up to help him, as well as Dark Rebellion Exceed Dragon and Odd-Eye's Rebellion Dragon. And of course the famous plot device card in his extra deck somewhere. He's against a 2800 attack point monster, level 8 synchro monster, and his opponent has 3200 life points with 1 card in hand. So how do you win this turn? You have 3 choices. Choice A, grab an action card. Choice B, summon the plot card. Or choice C, summon Dark Rebellion Exceed Dragon. The logical answer would be to summon the Dark Rebellion Exceed Dragon. Dark Rebellion Exceed Dragon actually has a different effect in the show, but it's really similar. You can detach only one Exceed material to activate its TCG effect essentially, but you can only target level 5 or higher monsters your opponent controls, and since we're dealing with a level 8 synchro monster, it's a-okay. So Dark Rebellion essentially can activate its effect twice on that level 8 synchro monster. So he would make Dark Rebellion by using Monster Reborn on Performer Pal Warrior Tiger, and then just Pendulum Summon the Performer Pal Silver Claw, Exceed Summon into Dark Rebellion Exceed Dragon. So the math would work out like this: 25 versus 28, plus 14 becomes 14, plus 700 becomes 700, 46 minus 700 is 39, which means it's greater than 32, so that's basically GG. But Yuya chose to summon the plot card. I'm surprised he didn't try to grab an action card, right? Maybe it's dangerous on a motorcycle, but you know, they do that all the time. So he summons Enlightenment Paladin by using Performer Pal Silver Claw, Tuning Magician by using Monster Reborn on it, and Time Sword Magician to make the level 8 Enlightenment Paladin. Enlightenment Paladin was not really made from Clearwing, neither did Yugo help in the summoning of Enlightenment Paladin, so the idea of Odd Eye's Clearwing Dragon might not actually exist, but you know, Enlightenment Paladin is not a Pendulum Synchro monster, but Nirvana High Paladin kind of proves that wrong because he uses Enlightenment Paladin as a level 8 tuner monster, which is not a tuner monster, and perform a Cheer Mole to synchro on up Nirvana High Paladin. Yuya technically broke the game mechanic once again because technically the Enlightenment Paladin, the level 8 synchro monster, is not a tuner monster, but he can use it as a tuner monster anyways, so he technically broke the synchro mechanic, and beforehand he broke the Exceed mechanic with the Exceed monster being as Exceed material, so probably in a Ritual Pendulum monster or a Fusion Pendulum monster he will break the game mechanic again. Not sure how he's going to do that, but this is just a speculation. As well as both Odd Eye's Rebellion Dragon and Nirvana High Paladin are both dark monsters, so probably the other monsters will be dark as well. But this one's is level 10 and the other one's rank 7, so it's pretty random as well. This one's a Spellcaster monster, the other one's Dragon monster, so I'm just guessing that the next one might be Warrior. Technically, Yuya already fusion summoned in the show, thanks to Trump Witch having a fusion sort of effect, pendulum effect, and he fused pendulum monsters only together, so that's already in the show. So he did fusion summon, as well as he made a synchro monster, technically the Enlightenment Paladin, as a standalone sort of summon. But the Exceed summon, he did not have a standalone Exceed monster, he only has the Odd Eye's Rebellion Dragon, and technically the Dark Rebellion Exceed Dragon was of Yuto, so it's not of his own creation, so that might play in a role. But if you look at the counterpart to Yuya, which is Star Venom Fusion Dragon, and used by Yuri, I don't think he's gonna be combining with Yuri anytime soon, kind of like Yuto did, because this guy's actually Academia's soldier sort of thing, so not anytime soon, I'd say. Yuya technically broke the Exceed mechanic and the Synchro mechanic, but I'm not sure how you would break Fusion mechanic because Fusion spell cards are a thing, Contact Fusion is a thing, he already used a Pendulum effect to Fusion summon monsters, so not sure how he would break Fusion mechanic, but yeah. So Fusion monster on the field, basically Fusion summon it, bam, it's there. If it gets killed, place it in the Pendulum zone like the Synchro and Exceed Pendulum monster, so it works quite similar to the other monsters, so nothing too different with this, I'd say. When I think of rituals, I think of my heralds, and heralds are light fairy monsters, and in the show there's Cyber Angels, but used by Alexis, which are light fairies, as well as Prediction Princess, used by some little girl I don't remember the name of. But those are light fairy monsters, so I don't think they'll have more light fairy monsters. But if I had to think of another attribute, I would say water, because of Necros, and Gishki because of my friend. But yeah, water might be the next ritual pendulum monster if they do have one. I don't think they will have one because technically rituals are in the main deck, not the extra deck like Fusion, Synchro, and Exceed. As well as in the show, they only showcase the 4 dimensions. They have the Exceed dimension, the Synchro dimension, and the Fusion dimension, and Standard, which is like the pendulum sort of thing. So rituals might be like a hidden dimension maybe. Anything's possible, right? but I think of water. But of course, the trend is dark monsters only, so maybe it's going to be dark if it does happen. As well as the emotion of maybe sadness, because Yuya has been enraged and he's been enlightened. Maybe sadness might have something to do with it because of water, you know. So maybe something might happen. If I was thinking of like ritual pendulums, since it's in the main deck, I think you can actually have like an entire archetype dedicated to ritual pendulums and have multiple. Because it's super perfect, because rituals are like monsters that need spell cards, and ritual pendulum monsters would have both. The pendulum effect could be like, you can ritual summon, and the pendulum monster can just be the ritual monster, right? So it's quite perfect for ritual pendulums if they will ever make it. Like, Necros Cycle can ritual summon like a Necros monster from your graveyard, which is pretty awesome. So maybe they have like some kind of pendulum effect or some other card to ritual summon like ritual monsters from your extra deck, and that might substitute as like a pendulum summon for ritual monsters. I hope this video is what you would expect it to be, McGill, because I loved Burgastamas and I love the anime. That's why I didn't mind talking about the possibilities of a ritual pendulum monster and a fusion pendulum monster, so that was really fun to do. I really do encourage you guys to watch the anime of Arc 5 because it's really good. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys later.